Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the situation with anime voice actor Daman Mills, who has done work on Dragon Ball. I guess he's the current voice of Frieza. And he is Kaworu in Evangelion. And he's apparently been up to not so good things, which we're gonna talk about in this video. If you're sensitive, there is some sensitive subject matter in this video, so you might want to turn it off. We're going to give you a trigger warning. We don't do that very often.
No. But it's funny to me, though, people like on the internet are having a hissy because people are calling this person out. Now, we've known about this for a couple of days. We were waiting for more information before we covered it. And it's funny to me because they're like, you can't compare it to other people, meaning Vic Mignogna is what this is about.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me because several of the people that were very quick to throw Vic Mignogna under the bus have been outed themselves. It's not just this person. We've seen it a couple different times. But none of them to the level that we saw with what happened to Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, people are basically like, oh, it's horrible, don't talk about it.
Well, they're like, well, you can't compare the two. They're different.
How?
It's like, they're not different. Yeah, you're right. It is different in the fact that there are receipts here, and there have been people that have had proof that came out with proof against other voice actors. And I still haven't seen proof against Vic Mignogna.
Yeah. Now, to address the Vic Mignogna situation before we get into it, any further, Vic Mignogna, of course, was accused of misconduct, had many accusations leveled against him, actually went to trial for defamation. It was him suing a couple of people from Funimation for damage to his career, not the other way around. To date, as far as I know, even though there have been stories, I have not seen receipts, and there have not been any criminal charges pressed against him.
Right, and losing the defamation case, because defamation is extremely hard to prove.
Oh yeah,
losing the defamation case does not indicate guilt of whatever they accused him of, because they're like, well, he lost. It's not the same thing, and they keep spinning it as it's the same thing. Now, this isn't about Vic Mignogna.
No.
My point is, it's like the same people that were throwing him under the bus. There's been several of them that have been outed after the fact for doing behavior that they were accusing him of doing, and a lot of times with evidence. And that's my point. Other than that, we're not even going to mention Vic Mignogna too much in this because this isn't about him.
Yeah.
And we're not going to say, oh, it's homophobic to mention this. Dude did something shitty to a child. It's nothing to do with homophobia.
Yeah, we'll talk about what happened. We're going to talk about...
Taking my coat off for this one.
I think we'll talk a little bit about our own experiences at anime cons. We did the anime con circuit for a while. It is definitely the kind of scene that would lend itself to these sorts of shenanigans, like we said.
100%.
With the Vic Mignogna situation, people messing around and making lewd jokes and all of that. Like, that doesn't surprise me at all. And for everybody to act puritanical now, that like, oh my God, they made a sex joke. It's like, no, you don't understand. Everybody's touching, feeling, groping.
Yeah, when we were there,
jokes.
they were making lewd jokes all the time. And then you'd see people like in line to meet these actors or actresses, and like the girls would like unbuttoning their shirts and fluffing their hair. I mean, we were at these conventions as guests. We're not allowed to be there now because how dare we? But we were there as guests often. We would speak at these conventions.
There were high school, college age teenagers throwing up outside of our hotel room.
Yeah.
In the hallway, passing out drunk in the halls. I mean,
yeah, and some of them were definitely not old enough to have been drinking.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This scene is, and I've tried to convey to people that were covering the Vic Mignogna situation, and they'd never been to an anime con really, and I'm like, you don't understand. Like, this isn't like a comic book convention. Comic book conventions, you go to the show floor, you do your thing, you might go to a party afterwards, you go back to your hotel room. Usually the party is at the hotel, and it's like a 24/7 thing.
And that was saying all that, I want to point out too, anime cons were always our favorite. Like, we loved, not because we were partiers, because we weren't. We were like the old people that went back to their room. But like, the party was in the room. No, we too
tired to party.
Yeah, I know, pretty much. There were our favorite conventions to go to because it was always so fun to see all the clever cosplay and people that were excited about shows that we liked, and it was just it was like a different kind of crowd, and everybody was really accepting of other people, and it was very friendly, and I loved it. It was like anime cons were always my favorite, and yes, with it came a lot of the questionable behavior. A lot of times, though, it was just jokey fun. People were just like having fun with it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm excusing anything. I'm just saying it's just the culture that was around for years.
I think what surprised me so much about, especially with the Vic Mignogna situation, is how puritanical everybody all of a sudden became.
I know, when they themselves were the ones we'd see at these events acting like they were acting. I know.
And everybody all of a sudden is like, well, I've never touched any fan ever. I've never made eye contact. I've never joked about boobs. I can't believe somebody glommed onto me like that, and I didn't. The situation, regardless of where you fall on it, has definitely had an impact on anime con culture. I think it's going forward. It's going to be very sterile and very cold out of necessity to protect people, both the voice actors, and the people going to the cons, because they're going to be like, I don't want to be accused of anything.
Yes, but unfortunately, behavior that happened before now, and back when people were throwing Vic Mignogna under the bus, has been coming to light for several different people. And this person this Daman Mills is the latest.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate. I mean, look, again, victims of this sort of thing, a lot of kids are taken advantage of because of their age, and I'm definitely don't want to sit here and feel like, hey, we're gloating over this or whatever. It's just, it is ironic. It's not shocking that, people that are the first ones to line up to cast stones are, in fact, doing the same.
And now that this has come out, as this actress came out, they're like, oh, it's not the same thing. Oh, it's not the same thing. You're right. It's not the same thing. There's receipts.
There are receipts
for this one. And then, of course, if you accuse this if people say, hey, this is a bad look, it's because you're against gay people. No, it's because I'm against people that solicit children.
So this happened with Rooster Teeth too. I remember I'm seeing an ongoing pattern here. Okay, Rooster Teeth people were very quick to throw Mignogna under the bus without evidence, just stories, and several of their people were caught with their pants down, literally, with pictures, with text messages, with receipts. Same thing here.
They got fired, and now there's lawsuits, I think, on some of those.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen because of this, I think there's going to be a whole lot of unraveling. I think we're going to find a lot of legitimately creepy people in this industry now that you start pulling at those threads, and my advice to you is if you've partaken in these sorts of activities, keep your damn mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut, because it's going to be 100 times worse for you when it comes out that you were throwing other people under the bus and you yourself were doing it. But that's always deflection. That's always how it is.
So what happened?
Apparently what happened, according to Anime News Network via Bounding in the Comics, the public document, an Ohio man has accused Evangelion film and Sunny Boy voice actor Daman Mills of groping him and masturbating next to him while he was asleep.
Yes.
According to the alleged victim, the incidents took place between 2014 and 2015 when the man was a high school student and Mills was 20 to 21 years old. So we're not talking like he was, 45 and this was a 10-year-old, but it's still creepy and inappropriate.
Right. And I want to point out, too, I want to make it clear, at this point, this is just the receipts that have been posted and accusations. I don't think any criminal charges have been pressed against.
They're not going to be, apparently, from what...
Okay, so, I mean, you're going to take what has been put out there and decide for yourself what you want to believe.
So, again, this is coming from Anime News Network with a hat tipped to Bounding in the Comics. And again, if you haven't figured it out already... sensitive stuff in this video. If this hurts your feelings, you might want to turn the video off, because we're going to talk about icky things. Mills, through a cease and desist letter sent to the alleged victim on February 18th, asserts that the relationship was consensual and mutual, and the allegations are wholeheartedly false without merit. The voice actor is asking that the allegations be retracted. Well, we know how that goes. If you say, hey, could you stop saying these things about me? No. At that point, you've already been fired, blacklisted, and
now the voice actor should be lining up to distance themselves from him and say, "Oh,
they should be.
He should answer for this."
Including his friends.
And is he getting canceled for conventions and stuff?
It's already happening, actually, due to personal circumstances. Mills is no longer to attend.
He sends his regrets. He sends his regrets. How come it was when it was the other way around? It was, well, we just told him he couldn't come. When it was Vic Mignogna, now it's, oh, he's not coming, but it's his choice.
Yeah. According to the man who spoke to Anime News Network over a video call and has asked to be called Duncan, due to his concerns over retaliation and privacy. I can't imagine why you'd think you would be retaliated.
Right. I don't know why. No one ever does that.
In this scene. He met Mills via Facebook when he was a shy, quiet, and anxious 15-year-old boy.
So we're talking 6 to 7 years of difference here.
Yeah, which, he said they began talking in December 2012 when the undiscovered voice actor was living in Hawaii. According to Duncan, they became familiar with one another through the fan dub scene.
Okay, so he wasn't actually working as a voice actor at the time.
When they first met, then he began working after that. Yeah, Duncan told A&N that the friendship intensified, and Mills confessed sexual and romantic attraction, which Duncan did not reciprocate. According to him, he wanted to be kind to Mills and did not want to end the friendship because of their different sexual orientation. So Duncan is straight, Mills is not, but he just, I guess...
He just wanted to be friends.
Yeah. However, he added that he was routinely explaining to Mills that they were not romantically involved over the several-year friendship.
Why would you still say friends with somebody if they do creepy things to you?
Yeah, I mean, it should be like, hey, bro, I don't swing that way, but we can still hang out every once in a while, and if it escalates and be like, yeah, this is getting kind of weird now, but maybe it's best we don't hang out. Tried to be as nice as possible, while also stating I did not feel the same way, but didn't want it to affect our friendship. He continued to talk to me every day, texting me constantly, getting angry and emotionally attacking me if I did not respond as quickly as he did. He would often bring up that he felt sexually and emotionally attached to me, all of these things I would try to avoid. I think at that point, and look,
I would have stopped.
I would have been like, yeah, you know what? This is getting really freaking weird.
Because it wouldn't have mattered if it was even was like a friend that was someone that you were sexually attracted to that person, that type of person. For example, I like guys. So if I had a friend that was a guy and he kept saying this to me, after a while I'd be like, dude, we can't be friends because you can't.
I would kick the shit out of him.
Well, no, I mean I'm not talking married to you.
Okay.
Because I would never let it go that far. But I'd be like, we can't be friends because you can't let this go, and it's it's not going to work. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that it's like, oh, he's a homophobe. I think because he's still friends with the guy. Clearly not. It's just that you get to a place where the person is so interested in you, but you're not interested in them, that you cannot be friends anymore because they are emotionally demanding.
Well, yeah, it gets weirder. So for somebody who wants to not give off the impression, I'm just saying. Duncan said Mills moved to Ohio in January of 2014, approximately a year into their friendship. He said Mills' new home was about an hour from where Duncan lived with his mother and brother, and the two would see one another about once a month. Okay. Duncan claimed that the first time Mills stayed over at his house, he insisted they sleep next to one another in the 16-year-old's twin-sized bed.
Oh, boy.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
This is where it gets very sensitive.
Yes, you've been warned. You've been warned. I awoke that night to him heavily wrapped against me, nose in my neck, his entire arm up my shirt. He was caressing my bare body. I felt confused and outraged.
Well, you should. That's assault.
This is coming from Anime News Network, guys, just to be clear. This man I had been vulnerable to, taking advantage of my trust. I confronted him, Duncan wrote in the public document. He claimed that Mills, again, they have to make sure it's a public document. We didn't, he claimed that Mills denied being awake, and the teen asked him to not do it again. According to Duncan, Mills' behavior didn't stop, and the sleepovers... Wait,
I wouldn't have done it more.
Plural?
See, this is the part where people are going to question this guy. It's like, if you were so uncomfortable and you had problems with it, why did you continue? That's what people are going to say.
Purely platonic sleepovers, plural.
I mean, I had sleepovers with my friends too, but the first time I would have woke up with my friends with their hands up my shirt and rubbing up against me, I don't think I would have done that again. Unless it was neon, then that would have been okay.
Anyway, they routinely included Mills asking to sleep in his bed, followed by him waking up to being kissed, caressed, or having his hand moved towards Mills' privates. On one occasion, Duncan said he awoke to discover Mills wanking it next to him in his bed. Are you sure he's Kaworu and not Shinji?
I'm just like, what people are going to bring up, and I'm going to bring it up right now, is why was it if
plural,
right?
If it happened once, it should have been like
that wasn't. Why are you still letting him in bed with you?
Like, you sleep on the couch, dude. You sleep in the garage. Better yet, you go to the Motel 6 down the
I'm just saying, this is what people are going to question.
They're absolutely going to question it. And there are no charges being pressed because, honestly, the judge would probably even look at this like, you had plural sleepovers.
And he did this on different occasions.
And you knew he was romantically attracted to you. He said he was lusting after you. You let him have a sleepover at your house and you let him in your bed. What?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What?
This is gonna raise some eyebrows. If we're being fair and honest.
If we're being honest, yes. Again, personal opinion. I wasn't there. I was alarmed. It took me a couple days to bring this up to him. He admitted to me that he had been pleasuring himself in my bed. God, he also told me he would get off to the idea of me a lot. I feel so much shame for letting this go on. God, I can't. This is Anime News Network, guys. Anime News Network. I feel so much shame for letting this go on as long as it did, but also angered that someone who knows right from wrong would do these things. In the public document, they say like 100 times public document because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get sued for.
Because what happened with the Vic Mignogna thing was a lot of their evidentiary support they put up. Turned out they were pictures that people asked to be taken, and they were mad that they used them out of context against Vic Mignogna, and they got themselves in a lot of trouble, which led to people like Anime News Network calling us alt-right for questioning them. But anyway,
it goes from bad to worse. During his birthday, let's see, Mills came to him, spent hours attempting to persuade him to do things with his mouth, and that he told him that friends help each other out sometimes. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
I'm happy now that through the emotional abuse and mind games, I didn't give in. However, I would still wake up to him kissing me in my sleep. At this point, look, I'm not, I don't want to be like victim shaming, but I'm like, why the fuck? Well, one, why would your parents let this guy come over and hang out?
Well, he probably didn't know because he said he didn't even say about it.
Yeah. And two, I'm like, I don't.
Call me crazy.
I don't.
But if I had a 15-year-old son and I had a 21-year-old guy who wanted to come sleep over in his bed, I don't think I'd be too keen on it.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Anyway, there's lots of other stuff. This is a blow by blow, no pun intended.
He used one of his other friends hoping to get a picture of his him in his underwear. Being a joke. Pretense of being a joke. Oh, wow.
So that acquaintance was Brian, who asked us not to publish his last name due to privacy concerns. No shit. I can't imagine what would possibly give you the idea that some of the crazies on Twitter would come after you. Brian said he was introduced to Mills through Duncan in 2014. He and Duncan were friends, forged over the internet. Both teens took part in a Skype-based chat group, included other friends their age. They joked around, did dumb shit. He said he took a video of Duncan in February 2014, a screenshot of his friend's face, yada yada. And the screenshot Brian shared with ANN, Mills is shown to have messaged Brian and began asking for the video repeatedly after Brian declined. This is the one where
he was trying to get him his underwear?
Yeah, why the F is your picture? Blink, by the way. That's from a vid and he's hot. I'd really like to see the video. Damn it, no. Show me this kid in his underpants. Brian told ANN that Mills would often make off-color comments on his and other boys' Facebook profiles and played off his jokes, including statements he was going to do the R word to them.
Oh my God. Let me ask you this. People that are like, you can't get me offended because you're against gay people. Let's just say for argument's sake, this was what the evidence they found against someone like Vic or something like that it was a guy and a girl, and it was an underage girl. You'd be all losing your shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You would be. Absolutely. This is the same as Me Too. It's just the boy.
If there was this much evidence, Vic Mignogna, I'd be right there with you and be like, yeah, this guy's scummy. Where we're at right now is like, I don't know what happened, what didn't happen. All I'm seeing is in the 3 or whatever years it's been since all this shit came out, the guy has basically been blacklisted from the industry, and
they're still going on about it.
Yeah, and I've yet to see a smoking gun. I don't understand why Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi think it's a good idea to start a podcast about it, like a whole fucking podcast about it. Like, who wants to dredge this shit up?
Right, they won't let it go. But meanwhile, after the fact, this person and other people have come out. There's evidence, and it's come out that they've been misbehaving and done inappropriate things, and they got in trouble. But you never. It was like they got punished, and it was gone, and you never heard anything else about it. No one was calling for their firing. No one was like blacklisting them everywhere. No one's 4 years down the road still keeping it going. But this will probably go into the same thing. He'll probably not get any punishment whatsoever, if it's true.
Wow. Okay. In 2014, this is Brian. Mills wrote to 16-year-old, this kid, this is his friend, Duncan's friend. He was 16. They should fuck and ask the teen to send nude pics. Brian said he was contacted by Mills the day after the voice actor's birthday when Mills allegedly asked Duncan to do things with his mouth. In the message screenshot shared with ANN, again, receipts, Mills stated that he and Duncan never really dated and his feelings for the teenager were unrequited. I cry all day. I want this guy so bad. Duncan told ANN that another incident took place outside of his home when he went to visit Mills in 2015. It just goes on and on. I mean, it goes on.
They say he was going to sleep in the same bed. He woke up in the morning with Mills prodding my through my shorts.
When Duncan would try to talk to Mills about his interest in girls, he said the voice actor would tell him he was jealous or otherwise concerned Duncan would abandon him if he entered a relationship with a girl. Facebook messages shared with ANN show that in 2015, Mills told Duncan that when the teenager found a significant other, it would hurt him. So this is a lot of mind games.
He asked him for measurements of his winky. I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot of mind game. This is a very abusive situation, in so many levels. If it's true, it's just insane.
Duncan stated his mother finally got involved in March 2015.
When she found out.
Yep, and the two were no longer in regular contact. Duncan said he never told his mother in depth what was going on. I didn't tell her about it for years because I felt ashamed, I guess.
That's not unusual.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially for a guy, I think I want to take this opportunity to point out that men get sexually abused too. Boys get sexually abused too, and I'm so damn tired of hearing that it's only girls and it doesn't happen to guys. But guys aren't given the same... they're not given the same things that girls are. I mean, nothing is done enough, I think, for sexual assault. Nothing. Whether it be a boy or girl. I think that they all get, ignored on some level. But there's a lot more available, I think, for girls than there is for boys. Because a lot of times for guys, it's like, oh, well... go you, and I hear this often with men who have been abused, that they felt ashamed. Well, Brandon Fraser, wasn't he one that had been,
yeah, and they kind of laughed at him. Hollywood kind of laughed at him.
And he said, people, so not saying something because you feel embarrassed, and even for girls, feeling like it's your fault somehow, and you're feeling embarrassed, and we're like, well, why wouldn't you be your friend? I'm also looking at this, and I'm looking at the mental manipulation here. I'm sure he didn't want to be the bad guy. He didn't want to, it's kind of like how they manipulate you with the media. Well, I don't want people to think I'm a racist or a homophobe or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's like, here, I'm your friend. I care about you. If you care about me, it's a mental mind game. And then for a child, it's like magnified. I mean, it's bad for an adult, but for a child, it's magnified. So yeah, there probably was guilt and shame and things that are going on here. But boys and guys get just as much sexual assault. There's all the time things like this happen, but there's nowhere near the amount of support and help for dudes as there is for women. And even in both cases, there's not enough for either. But that explains the behavior. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. I wanted to put my PSA in there.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, his mom found out. His mom thought it was weird that...
His mom probably was like, oh, hell to the no.
Well, his mom was like, I thought it was a little weird you guys were in the same bed when I offered the couch. Like, why are you in the same bed together?
I'm sure it was manipulation to get him in the same bed. I mean...
And then 2016, he started working professionally. He was in Yuri on Ice, Cheer Boys, a whole bunch.
Well, he said Duncan began seeing a girl when he discovered that Mills had told a mutual acquaintance that he was a liar and a bad friend. So I'm sure this is being, held over his head,
Yeah. Mills told ANN he had sought legal counsel and has been advised not to comment on the allegations. He sent the alleged victim a cease and desist letter on February 18th, as well as claiming that the relationship was mutual and consensual.
Like it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they're going to ask, like...
Right, they are.
Why did you have multiple sleepovers, and why did you let the dude in your bed?
Here's the thing. The age of consent in Ohio is 16.
Okay.
So they're going to have issues with that. But I think it's a manipulation, because look here, he said about the liar and bad friend. And then, including he told it to his own brother. And then when he said, why was he doing it? He said, making himself and others hate you made it a lot easier to move on. So, I mean, these are the mental games and manipulation tactics that were involved here. So if true, when I'm reading down through it and I'm seeing what was said, it makes a lot more sense. But still, I'm like, yeah, after the first couple times, that would have been plenty, I think, to have gotten rid of him. But he probably was manipulated. Well, what am I going to do? I was in a situation once, I'm not going to go into detail, but I was in a situation once where I found out the person that I was seeing did something, and it was not Neon, did something really, 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 really bad. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be a part of this. And the other reason I was still around that person was because they threatened they were going to kill themselves and it'd be my fault if I left. Now, as an adult and being where I am now, I'm like, okay, fine, go ahead, But when I was younger and I was like, worried about it because I was with my friend, I didn't want to see them die. And then I'd be like, oh my God, it'd be my fault for the rest of my life. So when you're younger, it's not as cut and dry as like when you're older. You know what I mean? It's easy for parents to say, well, you should have done this. But when you're in that situation and you're younger, it might not be as clear to you because you don't want someone to die at your fault, even though it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, younger people, they're taking advantage of mentally as well as physically. And, it is unfortunate, and the thing is, I think they're probably just given the way the scene is. I think there is a lot of this going on. You're just not hearing about it, but it's just very ironic, I guess, that so many people now that we're seeing were very quick to throw certain people under the bus without a lot of proof or any proof, just stories, and they themselves were involved in similar, if not worse, situations, and there actually is proof.
Apparently, yeah, there's receipts with this one, and these are what we're reading to you is the alleged evidence and the receipts that were given. Now,
do I think that this guy's going to jail or anything? No, because again, the age of consent, and the judge is going to look at it and be like, you had multiple sleepovers and you had the guy in your own bed, like. What am I supposed to think?
Yeah, no, but it sounds like it started before the age of consent.
Yeah.
So if they get him on anything, it's only going to be because before 16. Otherwise, it's a he said type thing, unless he has more support than just messages. But, I just think it's funny, though, because I guess when this thing happened with Vic, this is what Daman Mills said. Many voices have been echoing a pressing issue, and this needs a strong, united front. Yep, it does there, Daman. I believe survivors. Okay, Damon's telling you to believe survivors, guys. Believe the survivors. He said so. It takes tremendous level of courage to speak openly about sexual assault and trauma. Takes this poor Duncan guy. I mean, he says there's an assault, and he came out and talked about it.
So there it is. I mean, again,
do with it as you will.
Do with it as you will. But I do believe that since those threads are being pulled at now, we're going to see a lot of this. And I think
we've been seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, we've been
kept on a download a lot.
Yeah, a lot of it's been kept on a download. It depends on who you are. If you're part of the clique, you get a pass, or they help cover for you or whatever. And I know that there are some people now that are like, oh, I don't know anything about Daman Mills. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I barely talked to the guy, It's like, it's a very small industry. Everybody knows everybody.
And this seems like it all happened before he became a voice actor.
Yeah.
But it's still,
There definitely is a lot of potential for temptation, given the scene, given the age of the fans of this scene. Same thing with the Rooster Teeth. You've got 40-year-old dudes having 16-year-olds throwing their panties at them, and they're going to cons all the time, and some of them took advantage of the situation. I think unfortunately we're gonna see a lot of stories come forward, and probably from very surprising people. Anyway.
I don't know how surprising. We'll see.
Unsurprised.
Yeah.
Unsurprised.
Shocker.
We're gonna wrap this. We're gonna wrap this up. All right, guys. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.